Welcome, the Northman Coaching Podcast with Gary and AJ. Thanks for tuning in. Building a better you, shoulder to shoulder, brick by brick. Let's go.
Welcome to Northman Coaching Podcast, where we will be discussing core values, men's issues, and just life stuff in general. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the core value of being attentive. So let's get into this, guys. You ever noticed that most people aren't actually listening anymore? They're waiting to speak, waiting to defend themselves, waiting to be understood, waiting for their turn. And somewhere along the way, we stop paying attention to each other, not just in relationships, but everywhere, at work, at home, with our kids, with God, and with ourselves. We live in a world where everybody is overstimulated, but underaware. And I think that's why so many people feel unseen, because attention, real attention, has become rare. Tonight, I want to talk about the value of being attentive. Not productive, not loud, not impressive, but attentive. Because I think attention might be one of the purest forms of love left. But first, I want to discuss my good friend who has a book out. It is called May, December End, right here. My good friend, Joel Rosario. He wrote this book, May, December End, The Ballad of Joey Flowers. It came out last year. It is definitely the best read that I read in 2025. It is available on Amazon, on Kindle, Nook, BarnesandNobles.com, and it is now available in a bookstore called Studio Moonfall in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So if you're in Wisconsin, try the cheese and check out this bookstore. They've got some pretty cool books from what I understand.
This isn't just a book you read, it's a book you feel. Joel Rosario pulls you straight into the heart of a man wrestling with love, loss, identity, and the ghosts that don't stay buried. The writing is poetic without trying too hard. The characters are flawed in all the right ways, and the emotional weight hits with that slow burn that sticks. He lets the pain breathe. He lets the beauty bleed through. And he shows with a songwriter's touch how a man can break and rebuild himself without losing the heart that made him worth loving in the first place.
Available now.
And he also has a podcast with his better half. It is called Sessions and Lessons, and they release episodes every Sunday and Wednesday. So check them out. And his wife, Glow, also has her own podcast. It's called Glowing Off Script. They're both self-helpish. Sessions and Lessons is like self-help banter / 1990s morning radio show. It's like a clean version of Howard Stern. And then Glowing Off Script is, that's more self-helpish. They get into more mental issues and trauma stuff. They're both really good. I enjoy both of them. So check those out. They are both on all major podcast platforms. All right, let's get back into this, guys. So where was I? You can tell a lot about a man by what he notices, what pulls his focus, what distracts him, what he ignores, and what he gives energy to. Some men notice disrespect immediately, but never notice their child asking quietly for connection. Some people can detect a change in somebody's texting patterns, but can't recognize the exhaustion in their own soul. We become attentive to whatever owns us. Think about that, because your attention reveals your priorities, even when your words don't. I think a lot of us have trained ourselves to survive, but not to observe. We move fast, we scroll fast, we react fast, and we speak fast. But awareness, that requires slowing down. And slowing down is uncomfortable for people who have spent their entire lives trying to outrun themselves. That's why silence bothers some people, because silence starts revealing things that we avoided, that we buried, things we distracted ourselves from. Sometimes the reason people constantly need noise is because attentiveness eventually turns inward. And inward is where the real work starts. You ever sit in a room with somebody and realize they aren't really there? Their body is there, their words are there, but their attention is somewhere else. That's becoming normal now. And honestly, it's damaging relationships in ways people don't even realize, because people don't just want to be heard. They want to feel felt. That requires presence, not fixing, not controlling, not performing, just presence. A lot of men think leadership is about having the answers. Sometimes leadership is just noticing. Noticing your daughter got quieter this week. Noticing your wife seems emotionally exhausted. Noticing your friend stopped laughing the way he used to. Noticing your own bitterness before it becomes everybody else's problem. That's attentiveness. And honestly, that kind of awareness takes strength, because most people only pay attention once something breaks, once the marriage is falling apart, once the kid stops talking, once the addiction gets exposed, once the loneliness becomes unbearable, once the damage becomes visible. But attentive people notice shifts early. That's why attentiveness protects things. It protects relationships, protects peace, it protects trust, it protects your spirit. A distracted man usually becomes a reactive man because if you aren't paying attention, life eventually catches you off guard. I think one of the saddest things in modern life is that many conversations happen without connection. Two people talking, neither one truly seeing the other, and then both people walk away feeling alone. You can't build deep relationships while living shallow, and living with shallow attention spans. You just can't. Real connection requires observation. It requires remembering little things, the tone in somebody's voice, the hesitation before they answer, the energy behind the words, the things they didn't say. Attentive people hear what others miss. And honestly, social media has made this harder because now everyone's attention is fractured. Most people can't even watch a 30-second video without reaching for another distraction. So what happens? The same fractured attention starts affecting relationships, friendships, fatherhood, faith, purpose. People are physically present, but mentally scattered. And scattered people struggle to build stable lives. You know what's interesting? A lot of men say they want respect, but attentive men usually earn it naturally because people trust people who pay attention. People feel safe around people who notice details. People open up around people who are truly present. That's why attentiveness matters in brotherhood too. A real brother notices when another man is drifting, not to shame him, not to control him, but because attentive men don't let other men disappear silently. That matters, especially now, because a lot of men are drowning quietly, smiling publicly, breaking privately, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, "You seemed off today. Talk to me." That sentence alone can save somebody. But attentiveness also has to turn inward. You have to become attentive to yourself, your patterns, your triggers, your bitterness, your ego, your coping mechanisms, your emotional exhaustion. A lot of people are highly observant of others and completely disconnected from themselves. That's dangerous because self-awareness is what keeps pain from becoming protection. Unhealed people usually stop observing themselves and start blaming the world for everything they refuse to confront. You ever noticed how exhausted people become when they constantly need external stimulation? Whether it's music, scrolling, notifications, drama, or just noise. Sometimes because stillness would force them to notice they're unhappy, they're disconnected, they're grieving, they're lost. Attentiveness can feel uncomfortable at first because awareness removes denial, but it also creates healing because once you finally see clearly, you can finally rebuild honestly. I think that's one reason why faith matters too. Prayer isn't just speaking. It's listening, reflection, stillness, conviction, awareness. Some people want God to speak loudly while ignoring everything he's already been trying to show them quietly. And honestly, I think many of us miss blessings because we move too fast to notice them. The world rewards speed, but wisdom usually moves slower. That's why attentive people often seem calmer because they're observing before reacting. And that's something I've had to learn myself. Not every emotion deserves expression. Not every thought deserves action. Not every situation deserves immediate response. Attentiveness creates discernment, and discernment protects peace. I think some men are trying to rebuild their lives without paying attention to the patterns that destroyed them in the first place. That's like rebuilding a bridge without inspecting the foundation. You can't heal what you refuse to observe. And sometimes the hardest truth is realizing the warning signs were always there. We just ignored them. But here's the good news. Attention can be retrained, and you can become more present, more aware, more intentional. You can slow down enough to actually experience your life again. You can notice beauty again, peace again, connection again. You can become the kind of man who makes people feel seen. And in today's world, that's rare. So maybe this week, instead of trying to impress everybody, just pay attention. Pay attention to your child's voice. Pay attention to your own spirit, the tension in your home, the peace you've been neglecting, the habits pulling you away from yourself, people silently asking for connection. Because life usually whispers before it screams. And attentive people hear the whispers. I think one of the greatest compliments a man can receive isn't he's successful. It's when you talk to him, you feel like he's really there. That kind of presence changes people. That kind of attentiveness builds trust. And honestly, that kind of man is becoming rare. So slow down, observe more, speak less, notice deeply. Because attention, real attention, might be one of the purest forms of love that we still have left. So if any of this has hit you guys and you're interested in joining the Brotherhood, where we are attentive and we listen, then check us out at northmancoaching.com and click Join the Brotherhood. We have 3 meetings a week, 3 check-in meetings a week, 1 long meeting where we get deep and we really talk about a lot of stuff. Also check out my our morning daily devotional Monday through Friday. And if you need any one-on-one coaching, go to northmancoaching.com, sign up for your 60-minute session. And also, if you are in the beginning stages of divorce, check out the book I wrote called The First 30 Days. And it is completely free. Go to the website, pick it up. It's going to help you get through the first 30 days and beyond. It's going to teach you how to respond versus react. And if you follow this book properly, you will most likely save yourself. And if you can save yourself, you have a shot at saving your marriage. So on that note, I'm going to say goodnight and check out the website. And if any of this hits you, please like and subscribe, leave comments. I will get back to every single one of you. All right. Have a good one, guys.
"7 days, no obligation, just 7 days for an opportunity to make yourself a better man. Divorce, hardships, we all have or are going through it. You are not alone. Join the Brotherhood, Northman Coaching on School. Stop by today and begin the journey. Shoulder to shoulder, brick by brick. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. You are worth it. Join today.